So my name is Marc Victor, and first I want to thank you guys for having me here, and also really touched by my brother Khalil's story over here. Awesome story, my man. He hit on something I want to hit on. First of all, let me tell you just a tad about me. My name's Marc Victor. I'm a criminal defense lawyer for almost 30 years now. I founded the Attorneys for Freedom law firm. We're activist attorneys. We don't just care about making money. We care about changing the world. We're very serious about changing the world. I'm going to ask everybody at some point, just take a peek at the new global peace movement that's getting ready to start, called the Live and Let Live movement. Because we're talking about criminal justice here, but we're not going to fix criminal justice by just fixing criminal justice. There's a reason people enter the criminal justice system. We got to reform ourselves. Look in the mirror if you want to know what the problem is. It's us. We need to get our own house in order. We can't just start thinking about the problem at the time that the police officers make an arrest. We shouldn't just focus on the mistakes in our system. Yeah, we don't have a perfect system. I'm the first one to tell you that. We got racism in the system. We got corruption in the system. Those are not our problems. The problems we have are us. We got to straighten out our families and our schools. We need to look in the mirror and fix ourselves. Live and let live should be our theme if we care about peace and freedom in the world. We got all these problems. They're all connected. We need to understand people look different. They live different. They think differently. It's okay. Let's defend the rights of other people to do things we think they shouldn't even do, so long as they're peaceful. We got to stop forcing our way of life on other people. Let's demand that they're not aggressors. Nobody gets to aggress. That should be the rule. But you got to let people live. I'm sorry how I bring it. I'm a former Marine. I don't bring it with any BS ever. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm running for U.S. Senate. I just found out I'm on the ballot here in Arizona, and I'm going to speak my mind. And if you don't like it, that's okay. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's just speak the truth. To all my brothers and sisters out here, yeah, my brothers and sisters out here, however you look, wherever you're from, whatever you believe about the afterlife, whatever you put in your body, if you're for peace and freedom, I'm with you. We've met the enemy, and the enemy is us, really. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'm going to start unpacking some things for you. 28 years in the criminal justice system. Do we have racism? Yeah. Do we have corruption? Do we have bad cops? Yeah. None of those are our problems. Truly, I can tell you, I have spent 28 years looking to raise the issue in court that my client, and I have represented clients of all backgrounds and all types, my client is being treated differently because of the color of their skin, because of where they're from, because of their religious background. I've raised it once. It's really not our problem. Yes, we see endless videos of police officers doing bad things, because there's always police officers doing bad things. But we see every single thing they do that's bad now. Then we make a mistake by generalizing that to all police. Police are not the problem. None of this is the problem. Our thinking is the problem. If this conference was happening just a few decades ago, the issue on the table would not be, we got to get people out of prison, we got to shorten sentences. It would be, we need to make them longer, right? That's what the talk was just a few decades ago. There's a pendulum. It swings this way. 1 minute the Democrats are going to save us. Oh, then they screwed everything up. Now the Republicans are going to save us. Oh, they screwed everything up. Now back to we got to stop with the treadmill. I just want to give you an example of something. I debated publicly many times legalization of marijuana. And I want an apology from everybody I debated. The horrors that were presented that would happen if we legalized marijuana. Do you know how many lives have been ruined over this? and lives that are still today ruined over this? People driving it, people growing it, people selling it. Now we say this ain't no big deal. We wonder why we have so many people in prison. How many people argued, oh my God, if gay people can get married, it'll be the destruction of the American family. I want an apology from them too. Gambling was illegal forever. Oh my God, if we legalize gambling, hell will break loose. I want an apology from them too. There's a pattern here. We shouldn't put people in prison for moral crimes. We got to stop with this. I'll also tell you, I've read, I don't know how many pre-sentence reports at this point in my career. Hundreds of thousands, probably. I see patterns. These police officers here know who they're arresting, and they know why they're arresting them. We know why they're arresting them as well. We got to do better as parents. I'm a dad, and it's the most important job that I have. Don't be a parent if you're not willing to undertake the serious responsibility of raising people to join a free country. We got to rearrange our thinking. There are many things I would love to get you guys to pay for. There's lots of things I think are important. I'd like to try to persuade you to pay for things, but I got no business forcing you to pay for anything. That ain't my role. You're in charge of you. You got to be the iron-fisted dictator of you. Your body, your property, your money, your time. We all have ideas about how the world should be. We've got to take those out of the law. If we just did that, we wouldn't have to talk about getting people out of prison. And you don't even realize the secondary effects here. Do you know, I've represented people in real crimes. I had a real burglary one time. We were going to trial on it. There was blood found at the scene. I said to the prosecutor, hey man, are you gonna test the blood? Because I knew how it was gonna come back. Why are we going to trial here? He said, no, we don't have money in the budget for that. But I made him test the green leafy substance every single time. And they never said, sorry, we're not gonna spend the money. We've wasted resources prosecuting people for stupid, victimless crimes. I was in federal court just recently defending a peaceful man on a gambling room case. Gambling. A guy went to prison for adults wagering their money in an illegal gambling poker room. We got to stop with this stuff. Let's persuade people to act better, not force them to act better. This is what creates the conflict in our society. This is what we need to fix. I didn't give you the website last time. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to shut up and sit down. liveandletlive.org. If you want to be part of the solution, there's a global peace movement going on. That's our community now. That's our community. I live in Chandler. My community is the globe. Threats come from all over the globe now. Have we noticed the last 2 years? We see what's going on in Ukraine. Threats are all over the world. That's our community. That's our people. We need to think differently. We need a paradigm shift. I remember when when my kids were little, they used to be upset with me because every Sunday at noon, I told them they had a class. And it was my class. They had to show up at noon. If they showed up at 12:01, I treated them like the Marine Corps drill instructor would have treated me had I shown up 1 second late. And so they understood the value of being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And I remember one particular class that I taught them. This was a hard one. I really had to prepare for it. I was going to teach them, hey, there's people out there in the world that they look different than you. And there's people, they're gay, and they like other people of the same sex. And I did this whole big, presentation for my kids, and they taught me something. They looked at me when I was done like I was crazy. They thought, why would we care about this kind of stuff? And it occurred to me something important. Our kids, they're not born racist. They're not born hating other people. In fact, if you have had the privilege like I have to travel around the world and visit people in different countries, yeah, you find differences. They look different. They eat different foods. They celebrate different holidays. But you'll get a real education on how similar we are. That's what struck me. Pick your place in the world. Any country you want. Pick the craziest one ever. I can tell you about the people there. They want to raise their kids. They want good food. They want their kids to have better lives than them. They like hanging out with their friends and listening to music. They're happy when it's the weekend. They can hang out. They're like us. Imagine if we taught our kids differently. Hey, you're in the oppressed group. You're in the oppressor group. You're this variety of kid. You're that variety. What are we doing? Why are we creating this hatred? Why can't we celebrate the differences? Why can't we say, hey, somebody eats different food, celebrates a different holiday. Can I celebrate with you? Why can't we teach our kids like this? We got to get there, right? And we got to also recognize that some people won't teach their kids like that. They'll teach their kids to hate and to act badly. What we should require of them is to not be aggressors. You can be a jerk, but you got to be peaceful if you're a jerk, right? You got to be peaceful. It's like people ask me, hey, Mark, you're going to run for Senate. What are you going to say about the BLM? I'm going to say the same thing about the BLM that I'm going to say about everybody and everything and every issue. I don't care what you believe. You want to march down the street? This is America. March down the street. You want to break windows and throw chairs around and steal stuff? Sorry. You don't get to do that. I don't care what your cause is. Let's treat people the same way. Let's have the same standard for everybody. So yeah, I mean, if it's just about keeping kids out of prison, we could just say kids don't go to prison anymore. And that would solve that. Is that really what we want? Or we want to get them to act differently? We need to get them to act differently. And I'm sorry, the government can't solve this problem. The government can't solve it. I'm not running for office to say I can solve it. We need to stop looking at them in the government to solve the problem. We're the problem. Until we can start taking responsibility for our kids and for ourselves and how we speak and how we act and who we have in our circle of friends and why, we're going to have all these same problems again. We'll be back here next year talking about, in 10 years, we'll be back saying, you know what? We lightened up the sentences on everybody and that didn't work. What we need is longer sentences again. Let's criminalize this, that, and the next thing. I want off the train. I want to make the world better than it is now. And we can't do that unless we're big enough to step up and say, you know what? I support the rights of other people to act in ways I don't think they should act. They can do things that are unhealthy, unwise, immoral, all of those things that I don't want them to do. And I can try to persuade them to act differently, but I defend their right to act in ways that I disagree with. It's like a First Amendment issue, right? I defend to the death your right to say what you want, even if and especially when I disagree with it. If we're not willing to say that, America ain't special anymore. We're not. We claim we're special. We need to not just sing the songs. We need to be special again, which means we need to get our heads screwed on straight. It's on us. Stop doing the same things we've been doing. That's all I got on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.